All right, so welcome back for another deep dive with us. This time we're going to be tackling something pretty unique. Um, you guys have asked us to take a look at this concept called the Eidolic Lexicon.
Okay.
Now, at first glance you might think, "Ooh, another book." But it's not really a book in the traditional sense.
Right.
It's more like, well, you'll see what I mean as we get into it. But just try to picture this, a book that like reflects back at you, based on your own understanding and then warp the knowledge that's contained inside of it. And not only that, but it can even like hold back information if it thinks you're not ready for it.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. The lexicon, what makes it so interesting is that it kind of turns everything we think we know about books upside down.
Yeah.
It's not just some, object just sitting there full of facts and stories. It's more like this living thing, you know. It changes, adapts based on who's reading it.
So are we talking like it physically like rewrites itself, like the words are changing on the pages?
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, how do you even take notes on something like that? Imagine the words are shifting, the ink is like bleeding into different. You'd never read the same passage twice.
Exactly. You can't just like, dog-ear a page and expect it to stay put. It almost pushes back against you trying to like own it or control it. It wants to stay mysterious.
Okay, see, now this is where it gets really, really interesting to me because it has this reputation as, some people call it the book of impossible things. So, like, what kind of knowledge could it possibly hold? We're talking events that never even happened, names that never existed, like formulas that could break reality.
Right. It really sparks your imagination. Like imagine you're looking for, say, the secret to eternal life.
Mm-hmm.
The lexicon might show you a symbol, some weird alchemical symbol, or a snippet of text in a language you've never seen before. Just a tiny glimpse, enough to pique your interest, but never the full answer.
So it's like it dangles this knowledge in front of you, but never gives you the full picture?
Exactly.
That's frustrating.
It is. It is.
But I guess that kind of plays into the idea of it being a safeguard, right? Like we were talking about.
Yeah, and that's a big theory about the lexicon, that it's protecting knowledge that could be dangerous. Like even reality breaking, if it got into the wrong hands, it's almost like a filter, only revealing what you're ready for.
Okay, so let's say I am ready. What happens then? Does it just like lay it all out for me?
Not quite. See, the lexicon isn't really a teacher. It's more like a gatekeeper.
Oh, okay.
Think of it like a test. It'll only reveal what you're capable of understanding, nothing more.
So you could be super intelligent, like a genius even, but the lexicon might still be like, nope, not for you.
Exactly. It kind of throws out our usual ideas of smart or learned. The lexicon doesn't care about your degrees. It judges you on something deeper.
That's a humbling thought. So it sounds pretty contradictory then, right? This book that's supposed to protect knowledge, but it's also super dangerous to use.
That's the paradox of the Eidolic Lexicon. It's like some think it was made specifically to keep powerful knowledge from being misused, even if that means making it incredibly difficult, even perilous, to access.
So it's like a vault with this crazy, complicated lock, designed to keep out even the best safecrackers. But then why would anybody even want to use it? Wouldn't it be safer to just leave it alone?
Well, that's the other side of it. As dangerous as it might be, there's something about the Eidolic Lexicon that draws people in. It offers a glimpse into the forbidden, like a chance to understand the mysteries of existence.
It's a challenge.
It is. It's a challenge. It's a test. And for some people, that's just irresistible.
Right. This is not for the like faint of heart
Or
or for people who just want like simple answers. It's for those who really crave understanding, even if it comes at a cost.
Yeah.
I can see why this book, I mean, if we can even call it a book, why it's captured people's imaginations for so long.
It really speaks to that deep human desire, to understand the universe and our place in it, even if it means going into some pretty dangerous territory,
Yeah.
unexplored territory.
Yeah, it's like a siren call, It's alluring but dangerous, and I bet there are people out there right now searching for this book, determined to like unlock its secrets, no matter the risk.
Oh, for sure. There are definitely stories, legends even, about those who have tried to find the lexicon, to control it, to use it for their own purposes. But you got to remember, this isn't just a book you could just, pick up and read. It's an experience, a journey, and it can change you fundamentally.
So what happens then if you spend too much time with it? We've talked about the risks, the dangers. What does that actually look like? What are the consequences of getting too deep?
Well, one theory is that the lexicon doesn't just give you knowledge. It takes something from you in return. The more you dig into its pages, the more you risk losing parts of yourself.
Okay, now that's a bit, BB. What do you mean losing parts of yourself? Like forgetting stuff, your memories?
It could be subtle, like forgetting a name or a face, but it could be much worse. Some believe that spending too much time with the lexicon can fracture your sense of self. You lose the line between real and imagined.
So it's not just about what you learn, but what you lose in the process. It makes you wonder if the knowledge is ever really worth it.
Right. And that's the question, isn't it? Is the pursuit of this forbidden knowledge worth the risk of losing yourself? The lexicon doesn't offer easy answers. It forces you to really confront your own identity.
And we're talking about a book here. I mean, I love to read, but I've never worried about losing myself in a good novel.
Well, but you have to remember, the Eidolic Lexicon isn't a passive thing. It pushes back. It challenges your perceptions, your beliefs, even your memories. It's not just reading words. It's like a constant struggle to understand.
So it's almost like it's fighting back, like it's trying to protect itself.
Some believe that, yeah, that the lexicon has a consciousness, a will of its own, and it chooses its readers very carefully, only revealing its secrets to those it deems worthy.
And what about the ones who aren't worthy?
Well, they might be driven mad, lost in all those shifting words and half-truths. Or maybe they just forget everything they learned, just wiped clean.
This is intense. It's like a book is judging you, deciding if you deserve its knowledge or not. I think this whole conversation has kind of changed how I think about books in general. I mean, we think of them as just objects, but the Eidolic Lexicon it's something else entirely.
It really challenges our whole idea of what knowledge even is. Is it something to be possessed? Or is it something that's always changing, shaping us? The lexicon seems to say that the pursuit of knowledge is just as important as the knowledge itself.
And that the journey can be just as dangerous. Speaking of journeys, you mentioned earlier that there are even more like advanced ways to use the lexicon beyond just, reading it. I'm almost afraid to ask, but what did you mean by that?
Well, some believe that the Eidolic lexicon can be used to manipulate reality, like reshape the fabric of existence.
Okay, now you're really freaking me out. Manipulate reality, like magic.
Think about it. What if you could erase a memory? Not just from your mind, but from everyone's. Or what if you could lock away a piece of knowledge, make it inaccessible forever?
So you could rewrite history, make whole events vanish, like they never happened. That's a lot of power, and kind of terrifying if you really think about it. What's to stop someone from using that for, evil?
That's the thing, isn't it? The lexicon can be used for both good and evil. It all depends on the person using it.
It's a double-edged sword. Amazing potential, but also the possibility of terrible destruction.
Exactly. And the more you use it, the more you risk becoming entangled with its power, losing yourself in this labyrinth of knowledge.
I'm starting to see why they call it the book that cannot be owned. It sounds like it ends up hurting you.
It's a relationship, for sure, a give and take. But the book always has the upper hand, and the price for its knowledge can be very high.
So we've talked about the risks, the potential for loss, the power. But we haven't really talked about what the lexicon actually looks like.
Right, that's part of the mystery. There are so many descriptions, but no one really agrees. Some say it's bound in human skin. Others say it's made of, shimmering starlight.
I've even heard it said that it doesn't have a physical form at all, like it only exists in our minds, a shared hallucination or something.
Exactly. Which makes it even more dangerous, don't you think? Something so powerful but so elusive, so hard to even define. It's no wonder people are drawn to it, even knowing the risks.
It's like the ultimate forbidden fruit, right? A taste of knowledge that could ruin you. But as scary as it sounds, I gotta admit, I'm hooked. Tell me more about these advanced applications. You mentioned erasing memories and sealing away knowledge. What else can it do?
Well, imagine planting a memory, a false memory, into someone's mind. So real, so vivid, that they'd never doubt it.
You're saying you could change someone's whole perception of reality and make them believe something that never even happened. That's a whole other level of scary.
Oh, and that's just the beginning. The lexicon can supposedly alter time, create entire pocket dimensions, even bring back the dead.
Hold on. Bring back the dead, like resurrect people.
Well, not in the traditional sense, not like bringing back their physical bodies, but it could recreate their consciousness, their memories, their essence within its pages.
So you could talk to them, like have a conversation with someone who's long gone.
It's possible. But remember, the lexicon is unpredictable. It might show you that, or it might show you something else entirely.
I'm getting the feeling that the Eidolic Lexicon is less like a book and more like a portal or something, a doorway to the unknown.
That's a great way to put it. And like any doorway, it's up to you whether you want to step through, knowing that what you find on the other side could be amazing, terrifying, or maybe both.
Like it makes you think, if I had the chance to actually interact with this book, what would I ask it? What secrets would I want to unlock?
Right. It really makes you think about what you truly desire, when it comes to knowledge and understanding.
And what you're afraid of too, right? I mean, we've been talking about it for a while now, and I have to admit I'm feeling, I don't know, like a mix of awe and apprehension. Like I'm drawn to it, but also kind of terrified at the same time.
I think that's a very natural reaction. The lexicon, it's not something to be taken lightly. But maybe we can shift gears a little bit. We've talked a lot about the dangers, but what about the rewards? What could someone gain from using it responsibly, ethically even?
That's a good point. It can't be all doom and gloom, right? Like what if someone used it for good, to help people, to solve problems, to advance knowledge in a way that benefits everyone?
Right, there's definitely that potential. Imagine unlocking the secrets of clean energy or finding a cure for some terrible disease. The possibilities are kind of mind-blowing.
But wouldn't that go against the whole idea of it being a safeguard? Like wouldn't it try to hold back that knowledge to prevent it from being misused?
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? The lexicon, it wants to protect knowledge, but it also wants to guide those who are worthy. It's a tricky balance.
So how do you know if you're worthy? Like what kind of test does it use?
That's the million-dollar question. It's something scholars have debated for centuries. Some say it comes down to your intentions, the purity of your heart. Others think it's more about your capacity to understand, to handle these powerful concepts.
It's like the ultimate job interview, but the stakes are way higher than just getting a paycheck. I mean, you're risking your sanity, your identity, your soul even for a chance at this knowledge.
And even if you are deemed worthy, there's no guarantee you'll find what you're looking for. I mean, the lexicon is known for being, well, cryptic, you know, giving information in pieces, in riddles. It doesn't make it easy.
It sounds exhausting, honestly, but also kind of exhilarating. I can see why someone would be so driven to interact with it. It's the ultimate challenge, a test of your intellect, your will, everything.
And maybe that's the point. The Eidolic Lexicon isn't just about the knowledge itself. It's about the journey, the struggle to understand. It reminds us that true knowledge is never, fixed or final. It's always evolving.
So, so what does that mean for us here in the real world without, an Eidolic lexicon to guide us? We're dealing with so much information every day, so much of it conflicting or just plain wrong. How do we sift through it all and find, the truth?
And that's where the lessons of the lexicon become really important. It teaches us to be critical thinkers, to question everything, to not just accept things at face value.
Like it's saying, don't just believe everything you read or everything you hear.
Exactly. Dig deeper, question your assumptions, and be open to changing your mind.
Right.
The Eidolic Lexicon might be fictional, but the questions it raises about knowledge and truth and understanding, those are very real.
Yeah, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the Eidolic lexicon, I'm left with, wow, just a sense of wonder, but also a little bit of fear, honestly, and a lot of new questions. It's a book that I think will stick with me, even though I've never, actually seen it.
And maybe that's its greatest power, that it transcends fiction, that it makes us think differently about the world, about knowledge, about ourselves.
It's a good reminder that the pursuit of knowledge is a journey, and that the most important questions are often the ones without easy answers. So keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep. Who knows what you might find? 2026-7.